This is NRL Boom Rookies.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of NRL Boom Rookies. I am Matt Bungard. Alongside me, as always, Mitch Doyle. Hello.
G'day everybody. We're just dealing with, by the way, people, we're dealing with a bit of we had a bit of off air between podcast episode, Adam Reynolds chat. There's a bit of denial in the room, and
Yeah, look,
it's gonna be a tough one.
The bombshell dropped like at the end of recording the previous podcast, so I've just been like sitting here really sad for the last 10 minutes or so.
And you're reasoning with it. It's like, no, Wayne's playing games, or like, maybe
it's all silly buggers, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, so we're here. So might be a somber tone to this podcast. Maybe if you reckless Bungard comments later, I feel sorry for you.
I'm just sad. It's all right.
It is all right.
It's not all right.
The world keeps on spinning. Well, what was that? Who's that? Remember that guy lost the Super Bowl and he said we're all going to die in the end anyway?
Yeah. What?
Remember that? Who lost the Super Bowl and said that?
I don't know. Aiden Caesar said that to me.
And
he was right. Well, I interviewed Aiden Caesar after the game and asked him where he's going to be next year, and he said we might all be dead tomorrow.
Well, there you go.
And he wasn't wrong.
Oh, it's the guy from the Rams. That's it. Andrew Whitworth. That's what he said.
Oh, okay.
It's all, at the end of the day, we're all going to die.
Fair.
Yeah, that's how
dear. Before we get to the question time, Coltrane Cup, I am now 8-1. Are you 8-1?
No, I'm not.
No,
but
you're not.
So Jason is still 8-0.
9-0.
No, sorry. It's half the comp's like 8-1 still, aren't they?
It's
like
not
15,
that many.
No,
it's
sorry,
like
not
15
15
people.
Sorry,
I reckon. Yeah. And obviously this round does not count for the home and away because everything's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, like someone's going to get stung with an upset somewhere, you'd think, but also like there are like on Sportsbet, there's one game that's where the outsider is shorter than $3, and that's the Tigers. That's it. Every other game is like $3.10, $3.75, $7 for the Titans, $8 for the Dragons. How are you leaning this week?
Well, I've only picked the Storm once, which was 2 weeks ago. Roosters once, South once. I picked Penrith twice. So I'll save my last Penrith tip.
Yeah.
Because you never know a week you're going to need it.
True.
So I am leaning Storm because, again, this is a neutral venue and because it's the Storm at Suncorp. It's really hard to turn that down.
It is.
There's no home and away here. So that's what I'm leaning. I'm leaning Storm. And I think I'll probably lock them in because I would love to get the Raiders out of the way.
Yep.
I haven't got faith in them.
Neither do I.
And I'd love to knock off, if it was no Tommy Turbo for Manly, I'd knock Brisbane off here. No faith. No faith in the Knights either.
Well, I've tipped 9 different teams through the first 9 rounds, so I'm doing all right.
You're very well, mate. Well, I've got to go, because I've dropped 2. I don't usually drop that many early. I have to go through. I have to just maintain wins and hope it breaks for me.
So I have tipped 9 teams. I haven't tipped the Bulldogs yet. I haven't tipped the Raiders yet, like you. A couple of other teams I haven't tipped yet. I haven't tipped the Warriors yet. Not tipping them this week. I've weirdly not tipped the Titans yet. Seems like I probably should have tipped them last week. I know I won anyway with Manly, but still. But look, I think I just want to relax and enjoy Magic Round. So with that in mind, I'm probably just going to take the Storm.
That's it. Should be, by the way, are we going to go blind the last 4 or 5 rounds of the season?
Oh, what do you mean?
So we can lock our votes in a chamber so the fans don't know, or we're going to keep doing it.
Well,
publicly?
we can't win the prizes anyway.
I know, but we can defend. Remember, if we finish above us, we're going to give them all something.
Oh yeah,
so we should defend our mantle, and it's probably just going to be something.
If they only finish above you, only you have to give them things.
Oh, I have to.
Well, right now, I mean,
yes.
I haven't updated the ladder for this week yet, but there's only one person ahead of me.
Yeah,
so,
no, but it could. No, obviously it could change a lot. And I mean,
look, I know there's a lot.
I know I'm not that far away either, but I haven't got great for and against. That's what I haven't got.
I have the best for and against, the biggest number of all the players, including the one that's undefeated. So he keeps doing coward picks.
Simo, the king of this, he thought.
Yeah,
because he
picked a fall from grace. I picked Penrith 3 times in 5 weeks. I'm a genius.
Yeah,
fantastic.
There you go. And who did he pick this week? We haven't done that.
He did win this week, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, but he's lost twice. Loser.
You have had a few cowards drop off. That happens every.
Look, if you've like more than 3 games back, you may as well just stop. You're not going to catch Jason.
Agreed.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It makes my life easier too. So, all right.
So more dropouts, please.
Yeah. Without any further ado, let us get into the questions.
Are you serious? You're gonna hammer me with questions.
Okay. Patreon.com/NRL Boom Rookies. If you want to sign up. First question, Michael Gregson.
Yep.
Tips with dealing with foam warmer, which is fear of missing out on Magic Round.
Junta, look, there's not much you can do about it, buddy. Just maybe go dark for the weekend. Just don't check your phone.
The first ever Magic Round was when I met before I met my missus overseas, and it killed me. Knowing I knew before the public did it was happening. Could have booked it, did not book it because I was going to China. And whilst I loved my time with my missus, there was always still a little bit of my mind that I missed Magic Round.
I didn't have that much FOMO then because I didn't know how good it was going to be until I saw all our friends posting photos and talking about it for the last 2 years and stuff. Mm-hmm. So this time around, if I wasn't going, I'd have more FOMO. But I am going. So
let's be honest, mate. We're hitting that age of our life. Us as hosts and obviously a lot of our listeners would be in the same age bracket as us. We're no longer 21, 22, 23. Some of you are, but most of our listeners wouldn't be. And you're not that age anymore when you and your mates just everyone drops everything and just does shit. You know, it's like to get all the fellas together is actually an effort now.
Yep.
So Magic Weekend is like it's all of us hangers on to our youth.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these guys leaving their wives and babies at home, people in their 30s,
it's great.
And 40s. It's the last time they feel like they're a dickhead with the boys away from home or with the girls.
We've got two houses like 50 meters away from each other with like 10 of us in the two houses. And then we've got another 30 or 40 other people that we know that are going up that want to hang out. So it's
we've
great.
even got someone sleeping on the couch like I'm 18 again. It's great.
Yeah, there you go.
But so I can't wait. I'm sorry for you, Shanta, but it does feel like he's got two young kids. It's hard for him, but you got to start putting.
Hey, he's had sex twice though. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Also, the other weird thing about Magic, and people now think it's like a hookup game. That's speaking of having sex twice. Like,
yeah.
No, I don't know. I never really thought, mate. I never thought for myself, like, man, I'm gonna have the footy.
If I was single, I would not be looking at this weekend as like prime time for finding a date or something like that. It seems very strange to me. Anyway.
I remember the first time I saw her at the game and she was yelling at the referee.
And you know what?
Yeah.
And you know what? They had been doing it all day. That's when I knew. She was the one for me.
She called all day referee off the kickoff. And you know what?
From the moment she called Brett Sutter a cunt, I knew she was the one.
Then we went back behind, took our smoke and pass out, went outside.
Oh, the unlimited pass outs is huge, by the way, because again, we have an Airbnb 100 meters from the stadium. So, party time.
Nathan Thorson. Oh, this is going to be great. These poor Storm fans.
I hate Storm fans.
Yeah, no. Storm signing Coates. Why is it all of a sudden a problem with the transfer system now and not when it was every other top side signing players from the bottom teams?
I mean, it's annoying because I agree with him, but still,
I agree with him.
Shut up.
Yeah, as I said in the last part, I 100% agree with you, mate. It was like that no one gave a shit. No one gives a shit when...
Tedesco got poached by the Roosters. No one cared.
Yes, they got Cronk and Tedesco. They had another offseason where they got Jennings and Sonny Bill. And nobody
they also got Luke Keary. I know he was cast out a little bit.
No,
Luke Keary from Souths as well. Like,
no, it's fine. I hate the loser club mentality. I hate what the Broncos are like. The Dave Donaghy's full quote isn't that vulture thing. The full quote's okay, but I hate the people pouring one out for Brisbane now because it's just a loser club mentality. A couple of years ago, Penrith were bitching about losing their talent.
Yeah.
When you're shit, you bitch about losing your talent.
And look, I actually rated what Donaghy said because I think it was something that a lot of Broncos fans wanted to hear. Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Well, his whole comment was about like he wants to change the culture there, the structure, get better development and retention in place. And of course, as a part of that, we also got to keep the vultures at bay kind of thing. And he wants to discuss about getting something with the NRL in place for that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with any of those things. Like I do think if I was Brisbane, I would go to the NRL and say, I want a fee for development. We pay for development structures. If we lose a player, you give us money. They give us 10K or 20K, something tiny. NRL clubs aren't going to pay big fees, but I agree with all that, but the part was cut out of this long quote was the bloody vultures are coming for our good players. That wasn't the entire point of what he said. But anyway, Warwick Ahern, what are you most looking forward to for Magic Round?
Well, I mean, look, the games themselves are not going to be that good, I don't think. Like, as I said just before, like the betting odds on pretty much every game are quite far apart. There's bound to be a few bludgers. I mean, meeting a lot of people that have supported us over the years is probably number one, tied with hanging out with the fellas for the whole weekend, I think.
Mate, all I know is there's 8 referees up there, mate. Oh, boy. Are they going to get the what's for? Mate, I'm telling you. Whoever's on that sideline as well, mate, you better be watching them offsides, mate. I'll be watching them for you, and you'll be hearing it. But I'm looking forward to, as you said, it's a catch up. It's not just it's the longest period of my life I haven't been back to Brisbane for me. So that's taken away. Like again, I spent a year going to China with the missus, but then taken away from me last year from Magic Round going. So the longest period of my life I haven't been back to Brisbane. Longest period of my life since Suncorp's been built, I haven't been to Suncorp.
Wow.
So it's a long time for me. It's a lot of catching up with people I want to catch up with, not family, obviously, friends, no. and yeah, just
I haven't been on a plane in 2 years, so excited.
It's very weird, Matt. My last plane, I flew December before Corona. It's not that late, and Anna arrived here luckily the week before it hit. But yeah, I was going on planes every 2-3 months before then, and now I've been on one the whole time. I'm not looking forward to the mask plane ride. I tell you what, wearing those face masks, mate, after about an hour, I'm ready to go alt-right on the internet. You know what? They're trying to keep us down. They're controlling us with these face masks. It's ridiculous.
I am excited to drink 2 plain beers and make a mockery of the face mask rule.
Yeah, plain beers. I can't wait to overpay for a plain beer.
No, because I had to use my points, our like credit card points to book the flights, and they are only serving alcohol to business class passengers at the moment.
Of course they are. I'm about to say, I cannot wait to see.
So I paid the extra points for the business class.
Like the airplanes have always been so airlines always been capitalism turned up a notch. They always have been
the worst. Yes,
I can't wait to see what they've come up with. That's COVID's fault. Like everything there's probably no food, drink, anything included with you. There's probably more fees. Probably can't bring a drink on from outside because of COVID, all that kind of shit. There's going to be so many. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be like people at the top of their game, ripping people off. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, essentially it's in Brisbane. Look, I can't wait to catch up with everyone up there. You know, it's been a long time. Gavin Bannerman. This is an easy one. What's the funniest thing a player has written on their wrist?
What do you mean? It's when Andrew Fafita wrote cunt.
No, brothers cunt.
What else could it be?
Wasn't it Matt Lodge who wrote that?
Was it? No, wait. Andrew Fafita wrote fork here, FKL. Yeah. Matt Lodge wrote cunt. Maybe I'm sure Fafita's written cunt at some point.
Yeah, sure that was the best one.
Yeah.
Was that the same game that Mitchell Moses also had a gay slur in it?
Ooh. Simpler times.
Simpler times. Back when men were men.
And you could call people no.
But yeah, definitely that's an easy one. You know. Okay, next question. The not so mature age student. Do you think Nathan Brown actually does any work or just creates YouTube highlight packages of players he debuted? How far do you think the Warriors will fall under Brown when RTS leaves?
Depends who they sign. They've been better than I thought they'd be this year, in fairness. But yeah, I don't see them as a top 8 team unless, they sign like Adam Reynolds next year.
I mean, the cracks are there with some of the, like, I'm not hating on the player. I think Reece Walsh is a prodigious talent, and I want him to be the Brisbane number 1 next year. But you can see already in his game, I know people will ignore the faults in his game because of the few flashy moments, but his defense was awful in this week's game. And part of the reason they lost was how poor he was when he was on the field, in my opinion, when defensively. But this is the stuff that Brownie does. It's like, throw Walsh into first grade. He threw 1 million guys to the Wolves at the Knights. And when the Brisbane Broncos, who have thrown every player into first grade the last 2 years, didn't think Walsh was ready, it's probably a sign on this season. And he's done that. And I think just over time, he said RTS will leave. I think the cracks will slowly open up. There's still a lot of talent in that roster now, which is obviously keeping them head above water. But I think over time, the damage will be done.
Yeah. I think they're okay. I mean, their defense in that second half, their attitude and application were absolutely embarrassing. Manly just rolled through them every set pretty much for like a 20-minute period.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're meh. And they'll be worse when he leaves, obviously.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Next question from the same person. Can we change the rule so the length of the post-match press conference is as many minutes as the losing team's point margin? when it's a standard time. I just
What-
want to see some crazy Ricky conspiracy theories and Wayne's stand-up hour.
Wait, so Wayne Bennett would have had to do a 50-minute press conference.
Yes, he
this
would
week.
have.
I mean, that would have been imagine being the people trying to stretch that out.
He would have sat there sad. He would have sat there happily, not spoken, sad-faced, grimaced. But yeah, I don't know about that, but I do enjoy the post-match press conference tantrums. It would definitely be, if I was the head coach, would be the hardest part of the job for me. Is that because this weekend, for example, when Brisbane lost to the Cowboys, Kevy had to go up there and act like he was fine with it, because it was the team's first good away performance in history in the last 5 years, it feels like. So he went up there and acted like he was okay because they played well. Whereas if I'm in his position, I would have been still filthy. I don't know how sometimes they do it when they have to face the media.
Yeah, but it would be
Great for us.
Yeah, I'd love it. I mean, we would have had some long, pointless press conferences. It would have been great.
Well, I watch as many of them as I can. I don't know what everyone else does, but some of the best moments in rugby league happen at those press conferences. No one can forget Shane Flanagan's little sour notepad.
Oh, that was great.
Anyway, Cam Beswick. Does any other league, in the world muck around with its rules as much as the NRL?
I genuinely don't think so.
No. They might
maybe didn't Super Netball add a 2-point shot, which is outrageous. But
well, yes, the dangerous thing with rugby league is just the amount of control they have over the whole code. The NRL do in other sports, no one in football can do this. Can't change 10 of the rules one day. You can't do it in cricket. Even rugby union, you can't. They tried changing union rules, if you remember, in the southern hemisphere for a while there, and it ended up not lasting. You can't do that because of the size of the international game.
Well, yeah, the MLS. The MLS tried to have penalty shootouts be like ice hockey shootouts, where they dribble from halfway and try to beat the keeper.
Yeah,
and the rest of the world said, "Fuck you."
And yeah, it didn't last. I've seen it. They're funny though.
They're great. They are actually great.
They go, bring them in. But yeah, I don't think any other league mucks around with it. And then there's leagues, NFL and the NBA do every offseason throw up a million rule ideas, but they have to get approved by everyone. They don't have to get approved by some committee and put in overnight in the NRL. They have to get approved by all the owners.
If Peter V'landys and Gus Gould were running the NBA, we'd already have a 4-point shot this year. The number of times you could use your inch-age bench would be limited to 5 to
no timeouts in the last 10
facilitate
minutes.
fatigue. There'd be no timeouts, no score reviews, 1 referee instead of 3.
Yeah, it's it.
Hard fouls would be back. You'd elbow people in the head. It would just back to the 80s, mate.
There'd be 3 minutes left. All the teams have played 40 straight, and they're just hucking the ball and throwing it backboard as hard as they can, hoping for a rebound to tap in because they're all gassed.
Yep, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Who wants the best basketball players in the world at peak ability and fitness when we could have them all just be tired and sleepwalking around the court? It's fantastic.
And Cam's next question says, why do Greenberg, Peter V'landys, and their predecessors constantly think the game needs improving?
Did Greenberg change that much on-field stuff?
He did. He said the head knock stuff is great, referring to everything else. He did change a few things, but I do believe the game does need tweaks. I obviously believe that. Over time, trends and things in the game, all things change and there's tweaks. And the 7 tackle rule, I like, bar the knock-ons, for example. That's a Greenberg rule. I like it.
I don't like it for field goals either.
Yeah, but anyway, that's, there's tweaks that need to happen. But Greenberg did lots of studies before his. There's things that came in. The 2040 rule was implemented at lower levels before, and it didn't get used, and they brought it in, and no one uses it. But Peter V'landys obviously has taken advantage of, I guess, the top-down system rugby league seem to have, is that they can just change rules whenever they feel like it, which you just can't do in other codes. There doesn't have to be an approval process. They can just change the rule tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, but not my cup of tea doing that. And I know other codes, even then, I saw the International Rugby had put out the other day. They put out some studies to prove what they had done with head knocks. And it was I'm not trying to get up how good rugby is, but it was International Rugby doing this and showing trends matching exactly between when they started more yellow cards and red cards for the technique of tackling and the head injury risks has directly led to a decrease of concussions. It's like,
Yeah.
there you go. So they had 74% more yellow cards. That's a lot of yellow cards. 138% more red cards between the Rugby World Cup of 2015 and Rugby World Cup 2019. All right, that's a big change. And they had a total sanction percentage increase of 17% sanctions increased. But they had a 39% decrease in concussions from doing that. So that was like cause and effect. And there's a whole flow chart and a whole study put together of how they got to this, as opposed to the NRL saying, hey, we're going to change this rule because we feel like it's going to increase flow or something. And then after the fact, they're scrambling to prove it. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you're right. No one's saying the game is perfect, but the amount of changes we've undergone in the last 18 months is just absolutely insane.
Man, I'm going to process, dude. If I can see the process behind it, I'm fine. I can cop it. I can cop changes I don't like too, but this has none. Anyway, Hal Shaw, this is a long one. After another horror show performance in an important winnable game off the back of a good win, I think I've reached my breaking point with the Tigers. While I can't quit them, it seems unfair for me to inflict this punishment on anyone else. Question: do I raise my kids as Tigers fans and teach them the life attribute of resilience, or let them support literally any other team so they can experience rare slithers of joy as they live through a world ravaged by catastrophic effects of climate change? Cheers.
Fucking hell. It's hard, right? Because when I started watching rugby league, I basically had to be a Souths fan, and it sucked, right? It obviously sucked as a little kid. They lost pretty much all the time, got kicked out of the comp, came back, lost all the time again. But that's your team, and if that's your team, it should be your kids' team. And they might resent you for it, but that's just how these things work. It'll be much worse. The last thing in the world you want is for
joy from them.
Well, no, not so much that. It's just like it's just weird that it'd just be a weird feeling for me, for example, if like I had a kid and they just decided to be a Roosters fan. Like I just wouldn't like it. It would make me sad. And then it would be even more upsetting if like Souths in say 15 years' time won a grand final and I couldn't enjoy that with my hypothetical child because they are a Roosters fan.
Yeah, my child will have no choice.
No, exactly.
Because I'll obviously end up resenting it if it does choose another rugby league side. But no, they have no choice. I know lots of adults that their kids choose things. They do it themselves. That my kid will be regimented and trained. I didn't get with a Russian girl to let my child have free will. I'll tell you that much. So Brisbane is what he's getting. But where he's born, his origin will be determined. He can support. If he's born down here, he can support the Blues in origin.
Yeah, it's fair. I also don't care about origins. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Over on to Discord. Not as many questions on the Patreon today, so I'm guessing.
Yeah, they all use the Discord.
That's good.
It's easier.
Okay. What's last week's date? God, I'm bad at this.
The first one is from Regularly Wrong.
Okay, there it is. Excluding fan behavior and media takes, particularly tantrums about other fans teasing a Viking clap. God, why did I say Titans clap?
Good reading.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've seen in a game so far this year?
So, like on-field things, I think the worst thing I've seen on a field this year was this weekend when on zero tackle, Kyle Flanagan kicked it out on the full. Yeah. Like tried to chip to the corner and got it so wrong.
There's one I've been right on since day dot. They never rated that kid.
Yeah, got hooked at halftime.
Yeah. Who was that? That's another famous tweet. My mate Chris Gary cops it for that Pangai Tamalolo tweet, which is still right to this day. But you have what is your name? David Riccio, was it?
You brought this up last week.
Yeah, and I'm bringing it back again, saying he'd be better than Cooper Cronk. My God.
No, saying he was at like whatever the fuck this means. At this point in his career, he's outplaying Cooper Cronk.
He'd take Cooper Cronk. By the way, very annoyed Todd Payton figured out to actually Tamalolo's better in longer stints against Brisbane. I've got words, Todd. I've been standing up for you. We need words. But anyway, my most embarrassing thing I've seen in the game so far this year, it's not in the game, but right after it, it's still Trent Barrett crying. It's so embarrassing for me. Like, and he cried about something else as well. I can't remember. I read another tweet that he cried about something else, one of his players as well. Mate, this guy, you can't keep crying. You can't. Okay, Colmanos says, who from Parramatta v Roosters should face the longest stint on the sidelines? Dylan Brown, Marani Okore, or Matt Checken?
Oh, checking at a shocker, didn't he?
He did, but Dylan Brown.
Yeah, still Dylan Brown though.
Yeah. Wayno, in Australian sports, outside of maybe Ben Cousins, has it been as big as rise and fall as Jared Hayne? The level of high and level of low is enormous.
No. I would have said, like, if they'd never found a way back, like maybe Warner or Steve Smith, but they obviously have. But yeah, I think Hayne is number one for sure. Like, when I was working at the Herald in whatever year it was he went over there, was it 2015, 2016? When he went to the NFL, like, whatever month that was where he was, the month when he signed and then the month where he was in training camp and stuff and doing preseason. Like, that month where he was doing preseason, like, I think it was like, of the most 20 read stories on the Sydney Morning Herald, not sport stories, like 16 of them were about him. Like, it was a huge, huge deal. And everyone wanted him to succeed. And yeah, I think Wayno's nailed it. I can't really think of anyone that's up there.
Yeah, I agree as well. Like, as you said, the highs were really high. It was so big that he had his own section in the mastheads of news websites in Australia. Matty McPhee, 25. The refs deliberately blowing calls this week in order to protest the stupidity of all the new rules.
Sure.
I actually feel sorry for the refs this year, even though I think they've refereed quite poorly because they've not been set up to succeed very, very much. So they get criticised for not enforcing the new rules and the idealistic way of these rules were supposed to work. And then they get told to change your interpretation on every other weekly basis. And then they're also in a position is that they're not really like there's someone, if you're disgruntled at your job or similar, you can look into another industry. They can't just go like, hey, you know what? I'm a tennis umpire now. I found a job on Seek and I went and got a job in the tennis. It's like, this is what those guys do. Like, I feel sorry for them, but yeah, they haven't been great. Like, the stuff about saying the way teams weren't taking the 6 again seriously enough for me to penalise them. So it's like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, but the solution is just not call them.
Yeah. Oh, God. Frankie, are the Tigers actually in this NSL's Cup team in NRL dress up? Are they fixable as a roster? I personally don't think enough of that roster is redeemable. That's what he says.
Well, they've got the Dewey system, who's great. There are a couple of nice. Dane Laurie's awesome, I think.
Yeah.
They got some decent. I like Tall.
No, I think it's redeemable. I think they're 75% on the way there.
I think if Trent Robinson was their coach, they'd be in the finals probably. But again, you could probably say that about any roster. So.
They have a centers crisis, that's for sure.
That's not a great spot for them. And I think the Luke Brooks marriage needs to come to an end.
Oh, God. They're so done. He's past the new club rehab to me until I get proven otherwise. He's past that.
Wow.
But Adam Dewey has been a cracker this year, and he's been let down. Like, I feel every time Brooks gets the ball, I feel sorry for Adam Dewey. Just give it to Dewey, go the other way. Let down by his defense and his half partner, but him and Dane Laurie have formed quite a combination. Jake Simpkin has some potential. I know, obviously, Tarmow's on the downside, but they brought him in for leadership as much as everything else. But you can work with like Tarmow, Twall, Simpkin, Dewey, Laurie, Luciano, and then you have Stefano off the bench, Thomas McKaylee off the bench. Like, you're halfway there, a bit over halfway there. Zach Sini seems good as well, but and Nofaluma questionable to me.
He was really bad on Saturday.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have given him that deal they gave him. So anyway, except for the quick tap, I loved. What a shock, by the way. Quick tap on Nofaluma. Now this might shock you, Bunga, but a guy quick tapping when he chooses to, when the defense is scrambling, might punish him a bit more than a guy holding someone long enough until they get 6 again called, and then holding until the defensive line's set.
Yeah, it's
quick
crazy.
That might disadvantage them more. Who knows? But anyway, outside of that, he wasn't very good. But I think they're not as far off as the comment seems to think they are.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they get. Again, it's so hard. Attracting players in the competitive Sydney market when you're a team like the Tigers is impossible. They never get first pick. What?
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, next question, Jez. Could someone please explain the rules?
He said this during the Bulldogs-Dragons game, but I don't exactly know which incident this is referring to.
Yeah. And Matty P hasn't got a question, but he says, "As an apology to rugby league for being subjected to the Dragons Bulldogs game this weekend."
I accept your apology.
Well, it was one of those games that the last couple of tries and stuff were fun, but that was a garbage.
It was
game.
twins, Mitch. Twins.
For 6, yes, twins and debutantes scoring and parents holding signs. So that was fun from there, from like the 50th minute or so. But the first half, ugh. And then Kyle Flanagan getting hooked and then going back on the field. I don't know how he got back from that, but good on him.
Yeah.
Okay. Reece Brown, when Ben Elias takes over as West Tigers owner, will Isaac Moses have a formal job role in the club?
Yes, he'll be the president.
That'd be Stephen Moses.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Matty again. Has anyone ever been more committed to anything than the media is committed to getting Jack Bird an Origin jersey?
It's right up there with Moylan, isn't it?
It is. Every time he has one good game, the post-match on Fox Sports, you're like, geez, they're like, geez, do you reckon Jack Bird could play Origin? He's one of those guys that there can never be, there's never, Jack Bird is just having a good season. You know? It can't be accepted. It's either he's awful or he's great. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a very strange one.
He should be knowing either Origin team as a centre. Next question. Ben Qualiarte says, "And How I Met Your Mother, there's a cheerleader effect. When people are made to look more attractive as a part of a large group rather than individually. With that in mind, who is the biggest beneficiary of the cheerleader effect in NRL, and why is it Jason Saab?"
No, because like for Jason Saab, it's just Tom Turbo being there. It's not a product of the rest of the Manly team. So the answer historically,
Jake Dvojevic.
well, no, because again, that's the same reason. So the answer historically is either like the fullback or 5/8 for the Storm, the left winger for Souths, or this year, Benji Marshall.
Yes, it is. That's a good one. Benji's right this year. Harvey, what can aspiring halfbacks like Mitchell Pearce and Luke Brooks learn from modern masters of the positions like Jake Clifford and Aiden Caesar?
I like that he got Aiden correct as well. He spelled it with an A, because that always used to trip me up when I had to write about Aiden Caesar and Aiden Tolman, because they spelled Aiden differently. But he's nailed it. Another
one that annoyed me is that, as you know, knowing Clifford believer myself, had to come in for an injured Ben Hampton this weekend and had his best game in first grade. Not that he's the best runner of the ball or defender, but again, someone who can kick the ball 1,000,000 yards makes a massive difference in rugby league. It just does. I mean, you can flip the field in a bad set with your boot. It's huge. And he also did my boy Milf, who I don't even want to call him my boy anymore, but did that man I'm familiar with. Regularly Wrong says, is being a better route than Ray Hadley the best way to justify being an international coach? You're going to stop me from reading that for a second there?
I was going to. Fine.
V8 Tiger AU. Do you recall any fullback or winger getting the yips as bad as Zach Senior did? The only one I can think of is early Manu. It feels so bad for my guy. I think he should be a center anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't great from him, but it happens to guys sometimes, especially young guys in early on in their career.
Yeah, it's only his second game. We wouldn't call it the yips yet, mate. Manu Vadavai and Sonkani Dow couldn't catch a ball for like 2 seasons. Or Kim Amalo early on. Campo, who from the NRLBREU? I don't know why it's an EU.
Extended Universe.
Okay. Will claim best on ground honours at Magic Weekend. Can Frankie back up his incredible effort from 2019 or a new champion arise? Please draw up a market and place your bets.
Tough one. So Harry Ramage isn't coming, so he would have been up there at the top of the field. I think.
Will Simon be forced to kiss a Twitter lady?
Yes. I mean, look, Simon might win just through the sheer willpower of the rest of us.
Of the community coming together.
Community might come together. You got your veterans like your Matty McPees, your Hoopsers. They're not going to get written off to the point where they're best on grounds.
I mean, Frankie has a lot to live up to this weekend.
Simo's a dark horse.
Yeah.
Eddie Smith's claiming that he's going to be doing some damage.
What about the mum and Barbara of the Smith family, Nigel Smith?
It could be a good shout. Is Pup Campton coming? Because imagine Nigel Smith and Pup Campton running amok together.
Ken, your goal for the entire weekend is to get Nigel Smith to understand how Aurora Ball works.
I don't think I can do it. I'll try, but it'll be like 20 minutes into the first game, he'll be cheering David Nofaluma. I'll be like, no, that's not how this works.
Is it not the most dangerous? The Vlandis Ball has definitely done that. He's made Aurora Ball lethal.
That's
The
actually the
dangerous
worst
game.
thing he's done. If you get Dave Fafita in a game, you're fucked.
Let's explain it one more time for the fans because you're at Magic Round. You can do it now. Maybe you'll go
if
buy a
you-
round of beers.
I mean, I wouldn't do it at the stadium because it would be very expensive.
Maybe
but
go buy a round of
basically-
beers or something rather than
but
doing
basically,
shots.
we play this dumb game that we invented at a pub called the Aurora. That's why it's called Aurora Ball. We came up with it, I think, either the start of 2019 or the start of 2020. Came up with this game. We're just watching a shitty game at the pub, and I said, "Oh, look, let's all pick a forward, and if they score a try, you got to buy everyone fireball shots." And so Campo and Coleman and a couple other guys were with us that day. Went from there, and it's become a big thing ever since. I went through the whole of 2020 without losing.
You lost an unofficial one, didn't you? Not an official.
No,
one.
we lost Darius Boyd scoring
That's
when because if you play at home, it's
Yeah.
backs because you don't have to buy them, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, you just pick a forward. Nigel Smith does not understand how the game works. Kept trying to pick like Benji Marshall and Sam Williams last year. It was very frustrating. But of course, the time we played this with, it's best played with 4 or 5 people.
Because when you play each team.
Yeah, because we played this with 11 people when we were out once. Mitch and I were there and a few others. And our good friend Frankie had his player from both of the two teams playing in the first Super Saturday game, both scored in the first half. So he was down $200 after like 20 minutes of the first game.
Yeah, and we were out. So it was which game is it?
It was Sharks Titans.
Sharks Titans, right? Yeah. So that game
We had Talakai, not Talakai, the other one it was Talakai, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Talakai.
Yeah. And he had a double
Jared
in the prior
Wallace.
game.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Jared Wallace of all people, I think. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
he had
It was the
one in
game
the other
Kevin.
game as well.
It was the game Kevin Proctor bit someone, I think.
And
I
then
don't know.
and there's also rules if you get a send off as the same thing. So in that
Yeah.
game we had I can't remember who scored in the early one, but I remember in that game you said Talakai and then Jared Wallace, then Wade Graham scored, and then Jack Williams scored 2 minutes after Wade Graham. It was
Yeah, it was
team
carnage.
chaos.
and
and
then
then
Kevin
I-
Proctor got sent off.
This is my only loss of the year. Was this one? I had Jared kept Keegan Hipgrave go off for an HIA, so I'm like, that's it. I can't lose. Comes back on with 7 and scores
Yeah.
with 7
The
minutes.
punters
to go.
loved it. The
But already
punters absolutely
by
loved
that
it.
point, in that 9-minute gap between Williams and Hipgrave, like 4 of the blokes have been punted from the pub. So my round was cheaper.
It was.
Never-
And yeah, I went through the entire 2020 without losing and then lost in like the first game we played in 2021,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, you draft from either team as like
Yeah,
that's
so
what you
obviously if you get the first pick, you want to pick like a bench prop for like the worst of the two teams. But then the risk is obviously by the time the snake gets back to you, you could be left with like Isaiah Yo or Bill Kickow.
do. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Oh wait, we didn't actually pick one who will be up there. I'm giving young Ben Qualiata a shout.
Okay.
I'll give it.
He's got a lot of love to give. He gets those lonely
does.
nights in Tasmania all alone.
That's
He's
it,
got some
mate. He does.
pent up debauchery in him. It's not a bad shout.
And plus, he can start baking cookies on the first night for Friday when we get
And
there.
they'll,
We
they'll
can
be
have them on
ready in
Sunday.
20. No, I was gonna say, they'll be ready when we come back in 2022 for the next Magic Round. Yeah, I'm going to take young Simon. We're going to
Okay,
get
good.
we're going to get it done.
That's it. Manny P, has he only beat the Bulldogs? Is it fair to say Josh Maguire still has beaten an NRL team this year and the streak is alive and well?
Unfortunately, Josh Maguire is now 1-8.
Yeah, there's more. I can't remember. There's more winless players than him, by the way. Longer gap, but people just don't care. Neither do I. But
No,
there
but
is
not
more.
this year though.
No, there is. There's
What? How?
No, there's some guys where I can't. I looked at the other day. Anyway,
There were other players this year. It's impossible for this
What?
year.
teams who not a player who've played games and not have won them. Yeah,
No,
it's
but
not.
just 2021. Of course it is because he played every round and
Yeah, I know,
every
but
team
saying
won a
as in
game,
back-
and
the
he's the
team-
only one that changed teams.
No, people were doing the streak from back to last year. They were.
Oh no, fuck
people
that.
Had, yeah, people
yeah,
had
yeah.
much longer. there was-
No,
yeah,
didn't Joe O go like 2 years without winning a game?
pretty much.
Yeah.
exactly. Campo for Bungard.
No.
Which South Sydney player has the most 2002 Rabbitohs vibes?
It is probably Footy Dean.
You know, it's Magic Round when Campo is in the Discord asking questions.
Yeah, he's firing up. Yeah, it's probably Footy Dean. Reminds me of like one of that conga line of young playmakers that I tried to believe in before they were never seen from again in 4 weeks' time. Other than that, maybe Jackson Paulo as well. I know he didn't play last week, but yeah, he fits the bill of battling winger who frustrates me a lot.
And then for both of us, why does Jack White and cop no hit whatsoever when Canberra play poorly?
What a gift from young Nick Canton.
Well, everybody knows my thoughts on Jack White and forever
And
that
mine.
He's not that good. And you've been against.
I've called him the most overrated player in the
Yes.
comp like 100 times.
And we both agree on that. I don't know if I'd call him the most overrated, but he's up there. And he one of those guys again, Teflon, like how Corey Norman's ever at fault for anything.
Yeah.
Jack White's been fault for anything ever. Even when he was a shit fullback,
He kicks the ball on the full like 3 times every week. No one cares. If Ben Hunt did it, like
yes, I know, but he's a 6. It's his job to make things happen or whatever. He's been terrible this year, and he'll probably walk into the Origin team again. Everyone no one's got him in their Origin team, but there was like Brandy talking about it today that he won the Dally M. He's going into Origin, and he won the Dally M because Brandy gave him points in that game. He shouldn't have got points in. So that's the thing. Okay, next question: biggest tiger. I've not been to Brisbane since I was an idiot kid. What's good? Where is good coffee?
I'll let you answer this one.
I mean, again, I haven't been there enough years, unfortunately.
I've heard there's a place called the Coffee Club. It's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty big. But I mean, if you're concerned about your coffee, mate, we've already got to sort your priorities for the weekend already. I mean, I will probably find coffee at some point.
Tip a shot of Mr. Black in your beer and get on with your day.
Yeah, so I know I asked guys, and this one being on forever. Ben's Burgers is good burger joints up there. Sizzler's gone, unfortunately.
RIP.
There's good food near the Gabba, Steve said on there. But essentially, I haven't been there, like the city, for 2.5 to 3 years, and that's a long time for food, for the best good food place in the city to change. Like, if someone asked me like 5 or 6 years ago, where should I go to get a burger? I would have something different to what I say this year. If someone asked me in Sydney 3 or 4 years, where do I get chicken? It's a different answer then to this now. So I'm not going to answer that question because I haven't been to Brisbane for 2.5 years.
Fair enough.
Not fair. The good people of Discord have you though. Anyway, D Butt says, is there a more terrifying prospect in world sport than Ben Elias buying your club? I feel
I am sorry.
Considering his history of off the field stuff there anyway, of already kind of driving it into the ground once, give him the keys again. Okay, over on to Twitter. Okay, the Cumberland Throw says, I'm not used to following a team that's pretty good. In your opinion, what separates the Eels from the Panthers and Storm? P.S. If the answer isn't the Eels just need more Bryce Cartwright, he's going to be very upset.
Why was South not included in that group?
That's a question for him.
They're above one of the teams you just mentioned on the NRL ladder. So.
I think it's more.
Oh no, we're behind them on for and against now. Never mind. But still,
I think it's because people have seen Penrith now last year. They were calling Penrith pretenders all last year too, till they made the grand final. And the Storm, we know they're not. People have seen them do it. When it matters in their head. That this Eels team, people won't take them seriously until they win some finals games. Unfortunately, and I think they're playing just as good as Penrith and the Storm right now. And all I see is every time they play well is pretender chat on the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just nothing we can. I mean, it's just one of we're not going to know if they can do it in the big games until the finals. We're just not going to know.
Yeah.
In Parramatta's case, the other two, they're really good.
The Steves, he asks great questions all the time. He says, apart from Tony Williams' Instagram story involving comments about a convicted rapist who was a former teammate of his, what was more stupid? The Broncos signing Joel Clinton in 2008 and not re-signing Petro, or South signing Glenn Stewart in 2015?
I thought that was going to work out because I'm stupid.
So which one's worse? I think the Joel Clinton one's worse.
Yeah, me too. Because
Petro played
it's not like South's let anyone leave to sign him either. Like Sam went to rugby.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they let Sam leave to sign Glenn Stewart. Whereas I assume Brisbane could have kept Petro if they didn't sign Joel Clinton. Mitchell?
Yes,
I don't know.
It was kind of like that, but they essentially said they weren't going to pay him. And people like to blame Wayne, but it was his last year there, all that kind of stuff. But he went and played 4 years at Penrith, then came back to Brisbane. So It was an age thing, but it's like they still got 5 good years out of him. And they struggled so hard for they had 5 or 6 good back rowers in that period. They struggled so hard for props after Petro left and after Webke retired. And then they had Joel Clinton played 45 games for the Broncos and was gone in 2019. Sorry, 2009, into that season.
Fuck.
Yeah.
One more?
One more what? Question on Twitter?
Yeah, go one more.
Maybe.
So that one from Booner is pretty
That's what I'm looking at too. He says, which 3 players likely available should the Tigers should sign for 2020 to turn their fortunes around? His choices are Brandon Smith, Jaden Sewer, and a winger, maybe a Corey Oates. So people they could get for next season, you're saying?
Yeah, look. Well, I mean, for the Tigers,
Yeah.
Adam Reynolds is an absolute no-brainer. That should be, I mean, they're not going to get him, but that should be their top priority. trying to get him. If they could get 3 players right now that are off contract for next year, I think he's obviously number one. It's cheating to say Xavier Coates because he's already signed with Melbourne, so we can't count him, I don't think.
So what they don't need, like Brandon Smith is one I think they could get and play 13. They don't
Yeah.
need a hooker. So I actually
agree.
don't mind that one mentioned there. But I also think Dale Finucane wouldn't be a bad one.
No.
But what they do need in that middle there, they need someone who can distribute the ball a bit better than their current middles. And I don't know if that player is on the market currently. But maybe John Asiata could be a sneaky depth signing. I wouldn't mind for them Kurt Capewell, but I also fear of that being a very Tigers signing of him playing his last good year then going there.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the off-contract players now. Marty Tapau, bring him home. No, he won't come home.
I would try and steal Isaac Lumi from the Storm. Now they've gone and signed. Xavier Coates. Maybe Corey Oates one as well, but they definitely need a couple of outside.
I mean, look again. If it was just like if all things were equal and they could get some of these people, Jacob, the Saifidis are both off contract apparently.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. So yeah, well, Daniel will be a great one.
Actually, wait, no, I think I'm looking at off contract 2022.
Oh, there you go. You're looking too late.
Never mind me.
Yeah, I don't know. Like even an astute one, I think they could get, for example, is a Sebastian Chris.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't.
Yeah, sorry, I've got the correct list up now.
He can't be that ungettable, Sebastian Chris, and he's a cracker. Like he looks like again because they have a problem of when they go sign these decent. Like if they sign Dane Gagai, I'd guarantee you it went to shit. You know. So I would like go get someone like Sebastian Chris who's proved himself for 1 year. Wouldn't cost that much.
Yeah, I mean they can't go down the Bryce. They can't go down the Nathan Brown route because they've that's not going to work for them.
Another one I went off for Tony at the Bulldogs. I didn't realize he was off contract, but he plays really hard. So
I think Kurt Capewell might be decent for them as well.
So Kurt Capewell
Be great.
But, I mean, the good thing for the Tigers,
Angus Crichton should be their number one target.
Yeah. I think he's taking this money.
That's not going to happen. Isaac Liu also off contract Roosters would be a great signing for them too.
Yeah, I do think the thing for the Tigers.
And this guy, Sam Walker. Maybe they should try to get him.
Mate, he's going to get I believe he turned down $750 from the Roosters, mate. He's going to get paid, eh?
Do you reckon your boys might just chuck the keys at? Give him
I don't think he's leaving, but they're not getting the value they thought they were getting. But for the Tigers, I think good thing for them. I know their fans aren't happy right now, but the good thing for them is that they do have 3 of their spine. They miss I guess they've signed Hastings to be that other guy, the 7. But you've got to get rid of Luke Brooks. But they do. That's the hardest thing to get in place is that. And you do have a decentish middle now. I think you're missing that ball distributor, as I said. That's why they've got the pieces, and they've got a creative back row like Luch as well. They've got the pieces there. They just need to get some competent outside backs and another edge back rower, so they don't bloody collapse every time they defend their line for more than 4 tackles. But they got pieces. Dewey is awesome, man. I feel like if he was in a better team right now, people would be talking about him so much more than they are. And you were right on him, mate. You were right early on Adam Dewey.
Yeah, I've always been a believer. I'm glad he's playing well, even though, it's not for Souths.
Last question. Lachlan Marchant says, if TPJ is captain of the Broncos when they host the entire competition at Suncorp, doesn't that kind of make him the captain of the entire NRL?
Sure.
I know we lost, but that was my favorite moment of the weekend when they were saying, who's your captain? And he's off the field. Who's your captain? And then Pangai walks in the frame. It was great cinematography. It was
Have you put the Celine Dion over it yet?
No, I haven't, but I should.
You really should. Yeah. So I guess that's it for the questions. But before we get out of here, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the people in the top 2 tiers of our Patreon. If you want to submit your questions and make sure they get read out, and if you just want to support the show, patreon.com/NRL Boom Rookies. That's the same deal for Rookie Tags, Coltrane Cup, all that stuff. And once again, as I stall for time while I pull up the list of people, Magic Round this weekend, we will be there. Send us a message privately if you want to come to the meetup on Saturday afternoon, or if you free any other time, just DM one of us on Twitter or both of us. We're up there from what time are you getting up? I'm getting up like 11:30 on Friday morning. So
I'm getting up there. I think I'm 12:30. So I think my flight's 11:10.
Hit the ground running, mate.
Yeah, I'll probably go somewhere to get a feed when I land there. So I'm thinking about going to get one of Ben's burgers or something.
Yeah. Well, I'll me and Eddie will just be lingering around,
and then I'll head to. There's a Dan Murphy's at the airport.
That's amazing.
So then we'll head in from there. I mean, it's pretty easy where we're staying, as we're staying in the stadium, you get there from public transport, which is nice too. But yeah, that's it.
It'll be great. So yes, a quick thank you to Dave, Carlo Tyson, Stu, Wayne Ritchie, Ando, Anthony Anger, Ben Wallace, Big Chief 69, Blake Moretti, Blame Hud, Butsy, Cam Beswick, Chris Avnell, Chris Slade, CTO, Dan Cullinane, Doc Hogg, an anonymous backer, Frankie, Harvey G, Jace G, Jack Snape, James K, Jason, Joel Wrigley, Josh Brandon, Lachlan Hancock, Leon, Matty Jenkins, Matt Coleman, Matthew Duggan, Matty McPhee, Michael Murray, Morgan Watkins, Never Trendy, Razor, Reese Brown, Rowan Edwards, Roxanne Clark, Simo, Stephen Hickey, Swarzy Ty, the greatest Among Us player of all time, the not so mature age student, Thor Laycock, Tom Hardy, Warwick Ahern. Thank you so much for your continued support. We wouldn't be doing this without you. And to everyone in the lower tiers and everyone who just listens, thank you for your support as well. Yep. Nothing else to say. Just very pumped for the weekend. And if you are coming up once again, just come say hi. It's going to be a great time for all. Say goodbye, Mitchell.
Goodbye, Mitchell.
That's goodbye from me.
Looking for a new podcast to listen to? Here's what we love, courtesy of Acast Recommends.
What's up, y'all? My name is Mo Mitch, and I am the host of In the Moment. Brand new episodes released every Tuesday morning. I believe in laughing through pain, and I give you a lot of opportunities to laugh at mine. If we're being honest here, who am I to judge Lauren London? Even if she did have a baby 2 years after they broke up. My ex had a baby with another guy while we were still together. Bruh. Wait for me to die. She didn't even wait for us to break up. I'm 100% transparent on my podcast every time. I use my personal experiences to hopefully help you navigate through yours. So yeah, you're gonna laugh till it hurts, but you might also learn something. But if you're loving on somebody who has been abused, keep this in mind. There are things that can happen to you as a grown man that'll trigger that abuse you faced as a child, and it'll make you a child again. As a man, I ran from that. Listen to In the Moment on Acast or wherever you get your podcast.
Acast
Recommends.